Hello, everyone, and welcome to GnWC Predicts TLC Tables, Ladders, Chairs. Oh my, 2015. I am the Duke, and I'm here with my good friend.
I'm Gumby, damn it.
That's the best one yet. But that's actually Angry Larry. So thank you for that, Larry. How
With
you doing,
Pokey.
man?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm kind of okay too, and I think that comes along with with this card we have to review. But let's just kind of roll right into it. TLC. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it. We'll probably spend more time on NXT Takeover London, which will be the next show. So make sure and look out for that. But for now, on to TLC. Our first match that we predict will be. We're not necessarily predicting the order, but we're gonna just give an order.
We are. We need to gamble on.
Okay.
Points,
Yeah, we got to gamble on something,
involved,
right?
So we're gonna gamble on
okay.
Who's gonna win the matches and in what order the matches are coming into.
Cool. But we're both calling the same order, so that doesn't. Really,
yeah.
Okay. All right. So the order we've got for the number one slot in the order we've got the tag team championship match, which is the Lucha Dragons versus the Usos versus the New Day. And this is a ladder match. So the titles, I assume, I don't know if they'll be up in two different places or they'll just put them up together. They normally put them up together. So I assume that's what's going to happen. Larry, I'll let you give your prediction on this, and then I'll come back with mine, and we'll roll into the next one quick.
Yeah, I mean, listen, hey, I thought the Dudleys were going to take the titles at least last pay-per-view, the pay-per-view before. I'm surprised the New Day still has them, but with that being said, Usos just came back. I don't think they're ready to take the titles yet, and I don't think the Lucha Dragons have that star power to hold these titles unless the WWE is going to revert back to not treating this division as serious as it has been lately. The one thing I mentioned on the weekly show, and this is what I'm gonna swear by this. I'm married to this idea, is that Big E and Kofi will be the team that represents New Day in the ring. But Xavier Woods has made it pretty clear that he's also a member of the New Day. And through stipulations or shenanigans or whatever, I predict that Xavier Woods is going to climb the ladder and take the titles, therefore enabling New Day to win on some technicality.
Yep, I'm with you. I mean, I don't have much else to say. I think you hit all the nails on the head there. Yeah, I'm with you on that. So listen,
it'd be funny if it leads to like an Xavier Woods in a cage suspending over the ring kind of match, you know, to take out the interference, like old school 80s. Like, I don't even know if the Freebirds
that would be
did
fantastic.
Yeah, like Bobby the Brain Heenan used to be in a cage. I think Missy Hyatt was in a cage one time for some reason. I don't know, but they used to do those cage. Jim Cornette, they used to always put the guy in the cage over the ring so he couldn't interfere. But that'd be pretty cool if they did that for like Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah, it would be cool if it actually goes somewhere that that he has to be isolated by rule or something like that.
Yeah.
But that and this would be a great place to set that up. So maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm with you. Let's move on. We have the U.S. Championship match, which is a chairs match, and that is Jack Swagger facing the champion Alberto Del Rio. What you got?
I want one thing to happen in this match and one thing only. Well, we'll just say Del Rio is going to win. You know, I don't think Swagger is getting a title right now, and Del Rio is hot and coming back into the promotion. But I want one thing to happen in this match, and that is I want Jeb to ride down on his rascal scooter with a special We the People chair that Jack Swagger goes to try to use, and it backfires. You know, like a little hand across the heart kind of imprint on the seat of the chair. Just because we need Jeb in the scooter, like we need more gifs of him riding the scooter around now that people are actively looking for ways to make gifs of him. But all being said, he's probably not going to show up. He's probably written off this story. And I just, Del Rio's going to win a lackluster match, I think.
Now, I'll say that Zeb.
Jeb.
It's Zeb.
Zebediah.
It's Zeb, like Zebediah.
Yeah, I've heard it both ways.
No, you haven't. Anyway.
I'm not doing this with you right now.
I say Zeb actually is involved with the story. he's just detached from Del Rio, and I think I could see something happening like what you just said, and it backfiring. I'm gonna pick Swagger, even though no, I'm not. No, I can't do it. I can't do it because if he in fact did injure yet another person that it seemed like they were about to develop a storyline for, this might be his last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's I mean, from a professional standpoint, he could be done with the WWE.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. So you don't put the title on someone that a title that's been elevated like it has in the past 6 months.
Look out for the real American Swag Jagger on TNA.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't put that title on someone that you're going to give the walking papers to, and if anyone on the roster deserves them, I mean, just from a purely professional standpoint,
Eva Marie.
Well, there you go. But anyway, yeah, she's.
Oh, you mean Swagger?
Okay, she's kind of in the same boat too at this point.
Yeah.
If you watch Breaking Ground, but anyway, I'm with you, Del Rio. It's going to be hard to disagree with you. Some of these may be kind of ambiguous, so we'll see. But
yeah,
it's going to be hard to disagree with you on a lot of these, and this is one where I just can't because Del Rio needs to keep it. It's important for him as a character. It's important for the League of Nations that he keep that title because you can do a lot of fun stuff with having the U.S. title under the League of Nations. Basically, all these non-U.S. guys own that title is the idea that's being thrown out there. So
you could also do a Jeb on a pole match. That'd be cool.
Moving on. We're going to go to our next match, which is a non-title, I don't know.
Non-emotional.
Yeah, it's a pointless match.
Non-caring.
It's Rusev versus Ryback, and I got to be honest. If this is with anyone but but Ryback, I may be more on board with this match. But I'll let you go ahead and give your take first, and then I'll come back to that.
WWE seems to have this like concrete set in stone. They need to make this triple triangle kind of emotions kind of match or set up a storyline. And it seems like since it all fell apart between Ziggler and Rusev and all the times they tried to recreate that over and over again, it seems like they're doing this similar stuff with Ryback, Rusev, and Lana as they're doing with Ziggler, Breeze, and Summer Rae, almost like they're going to do this storyline no matter what, and now they're going to do it twice at the same time, just in case something happens, they can see it to a conclusion. I think Rusev is still in the doghouse, and definitely there's nuclear heat, whatever that means, on Lana backstage still. I expect Ryback to win, but in such a way where it makes Rusev look weak, where he's like being submissive to Lana. He'll walk out. He'll go to protect her again. He'll win by he'll lose by disqualification or count out, something stupid like that, and probably something very quick just because it's 7 matches on the card. I don't know. What do you think about it?
So back to what I said. If it was anyone but Ryback, I might actually buy into this version of the story. I'm getting your desk noise.
That was chapstick. That was pretty aggressive chapstick putting on, by the way.
All right, well, keep it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't know, because to me, Rusev is in a similar boat to Jack Swagger. For me, I know that he's the big guy that apparently can do no wrong because he's constantly in storylines and never taken off TV, even though he's linked to people being injured and stuff like that. But and has bragged about it now. But it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care who wins, but I suspect I'm going to pick Rusev because I don't care who wins and I don't think the story matters. I'm going to pick Rusev wins in in a way that maybe they just repeat it one more time, that Lana somehow fakes being injured and Ryback, maybe Ryback doesn't feel sorry for her this time. And then that, instead of that being, somehow, instead of somehow Ryback getting the upper hand because of that, because he isn't fooled this time, it just angers Rusev and he destroys them. So
She should just bring like a steak to the ring or something and distract Ryback, and he goes after the steak and he loses by just count out.
or like
I mean,
10
that'd be like,
salads from Panera Bread, something like
yeah,
that.
that'd be like so more entertaining than an actual match.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
like a cartoon puppy dog running around the ring chasing the hot dog on a stick.
Or like Daniel Bryan driving in driving a Panera Bread truck and just laughing at him. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. People would be like, I don't get the joke. And then everybody would be like, you need to watch Table for Three. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Great.
for those who don't get the joke right now. Anyway, let's move on because that match just bothers me. We're going to move on to the Divas Championship, and that will be Paige facing the champion who took the title off of her, and that is Charlotte, also known as the daughter of Ric Flair. By the way, Larry, did you know that she's the daughter of Ric Flair? She is the daughter of Ric Flair.
I wonder if he's going to be in her corner for this match.
Charlotte is the daughter of Ric Flair, and he may be in her corner for this match.
Yeah.
You know what? You're probably right. I think he's even going to be on every promotional material for this match.
I think he has a daughter in wrestling too.
Oh yeah, who is it? Oh, it's Charlotte. Did you know it's
Yeah.
Charlotte? And she's in this match. So give me your take on it.
Well, you're going to notice a trend here when I'm predicting these championship matches. I do believe Charlotte is going to win. In what way? I don't know. It'll probably be something questionable where Becky will call her on it on Raw or something, or Ms. TV or whatever. But at the same time, the IWC seems to be campaigning for Saraya Knight, Paige's mom, to be at ringside since Charlotte's dad's going to be at ringside. And I for one, I don't want to see this. Not that I don't want to see Saraya Knight on WWE programming. I don't want her to debut in a pay-per-view where she doesn't have a proper build-up or storyline, even if it's in like the pre-show attached to her. I'd rather see her on Raw and SmackDown a couple weeks and then be at like Royal Rumble in Paige's corner for a match, let's say. But all being said, Charlotte's going to do something dirty. Paige is going to lose yet again. And then probably it's going to lead up to a Becky Lynch confrontation on Raw.
I'm going to pick the same person, but take a slightly different spin on the other stuff. So, yeah, Charlotte's going to win. I'm actually in agreement with you almost all the way, and that's that Charlotte wins. She does something dirty or something like that, and then Becky calls her on it, and that sets up, her storyline with Becky and Becky turning on her, and, Becky being the face as Charlotte goes heel, which Charlotte is a better heel anyway, but anyway,
that's agreed.
Yeah.
She should have been the first one. She should have been the one to turn instead of Paige.
Yeah, it would have made a lot more sense. But anyway, especially since Paige was leading the revolution, well, your leader doesn't become like this solo act, right? It's like, it just doesn't even make sense. But anyway, who cares about, consistency and continuity? Yeah, I would see, I see that is what's already happening, that they've already started setting up the Becky story, and that's where it goes next. And maybe, just maybe Sasha gets in the mix somehow too going forward. I'm not sure how long people are willing to wait on that because they've stalled so long, but we'll see. Anyway, so with Saraya, I could see her being an equalizer, and it ends up being more of a clean match if WWE would actually allow she and Flair to kind of go at it, which they're not. They'll allow the women to hit the men, but the men can't do anything to retaliate. It's apparently how things work now. So you could have her be a physical equalizer to keep Flair out of the match. But I don't know. I guess I'm kind of with you on that. It would be nice if like she was already inserted into the story and all these promo materials that have this random old dude in the background would have, a lady in the background too. But I, you know, that this is what we've got. But picking the same outcome as you on this one as well. So Charlotte retains. Moving on, we have what could, if it's given enough time, could be the match of the night, and that's Dean Ambrose facing Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship. And this is, by the way, at TLC, but this is just a straight-up championship match. It'd be nice if it was no DQ or something so these guys could, really have fun with it. But it's just a straight title match. Larry, why don't you give me what you got on this one?
Well, like all the other title matches, I don't see the champion losing here. I think Owens' time has been too short as a champion, and I think he's been doing great things with it. His mannerisms or whatever, he's the most heel of the heels in wrestling right now, maybe. At least WWE. I'm sure there are others I can think about that do it better than him, but in WWE, no one does it better than him. Ambrose deserves time. He deserves a spotlight. I just don't think it's going to be this match. And yeah, this could be the match of the night. Actually, on paper, it is definitely the match of the night. It's probably the only match that, as a whole, like the wrestling fans really care about in general. But are you choking?
Oh, you heard that, but the recording didn't.
Oh, okay. I'm making sure you're okay, buddy. That's all.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay. But
I muted the recording.
My bad. Owens should be the Intercontinental Champion right now, and the guys that people are chasing. I just don't know how many times Ambrose is going to be in this spot, though, where he's like, because he did it with the heavyweight title with Seth Rollins, and he's doing it with here now, and he's probably done it with the U.S. title with John Cena too, where he's there, he's ready to take it, and he loses the match. I don't know how long before he loses steam by them keep doing this with him, but Owens definitely deserves some more with it. And I think that there are potential opponents for Owens going forward, including John Cena and his boy Sami Zayn. If he ever comes to the main roster soon, that could be the match where Owens loses the title. I just don't think it's going to be this week. And it's hard because some of these matches, and especially on NXT TakeOver, you're just like, well, if this guy loses, he's going to look really bad. This guy needs a win, but they're fighting each other, so there has to be a winner and a loser, and somebody wins the championship or whatever. But, I guess that's what makes it a good match, because you can expect Dean Ambrose to not lose again, and then you can also expect Owens not to lose the title so quick. So at the same time, you're kind of invested to see what happens. That's good.
Yeah, and I mean, heels don't really chase titles. They move on to something else or whatever. They foil someone else. So I can't see Owens losing because he's not going to chase the title after that. And honestly, yes, he hasn't had it long enough because he can really bring the IC title. He can take the IC title places. I won't necessarily put it quite on this level, but he can get it close to where Daniel Bryan would have taken it. In my opinion, I think he's one of the best people on the roster, period, to pull that off right now. And I'm with you that he needs to lose it to someone. It needs to mean more when he loses it. There's no real anything between he and Ambrose. Besides
it needs to be personal when he loses.
Yeah, besides Coke and popcorn to the face. That's as personal as it's gotten, and that just happened. So maybe they could have a 3-matcher. They could do the 2 matches and a rubber match or something like that. I don't know, but that's so boring anyway when you know what the outcome's going to be for the most part. Yeah, but Yeah, I'm with you. Owens retains again, and I guess now we can actually move on to another non-title match that it's gonna be the spot fest of the night, no doubt, no doubt, and that's the tables match with, as they're calling them, Team Extreme, which is the Dudley Boys, Rhino, and
Lita, Matt, and Jeff Hardy.
no. It's actually the Dudley Boys, Matt Hardy, Lita, and Ryan. It's the Dudley Boys.
Papachulo and Aguila.
No,
the same
yeah,
guy.
no. It's actually the Dudley Boys, Rhino, and Tommy Dreamer versus the four-man Wyatt family. So 4v4 tables.
So like the family, like Rowan Reigns, Ambrose, and Usos.
I get it. There's all these confusing names that they reuse all over the place. It's so freaking annoying, but no.
They should just call them Team RHBW.
God, no.
That I know exactly who it was.
Yeah, no. So anyway, Wyatt's versus Dudley's and Company is what it should, what it really is, or ECW Originals is what it.
Bubba
really
and
is.
Friends.
Yeah, Bubba and his friends. But I suspect this will be, if it's not the IC match, this will be match of the night. It's definitely going to be spot fest of the night, and they're calling it a tables elimination match. And Larry, I'll let you talk on that and give your predictions real quick, and then I'll come back.
We have a little bit of a debate internally between the Duke and I, Gumby, damn it, that we don't exactly know what they mean by tables match. If it's tables are legal.
Oh, yeah, right.
Are tables legal, or do you have to put your opponent through a table to get eliminated? We're going to talk based on that part, though. Is that the latter or the former? The one where you put the person through the table? Yeah, the latter.
Not LADDER, LATTER.
You have to put your opponent through the table to eliminate them. That's how it should be, and let's hope that's what they mean by tables match and not just they're legal. I don't know about this match because I can instantly see Eric Rowan getting eliminated first because he seems to be the whipping boy so far, and Tommy Dreamer is always the guy on his team to get eliminated next. And then the Dudleys can 3D Harper through a table, and Rhino and Braun Strowman can eliminate each other by goring each other through a table together simultaneously. And that leaves the Dudleys with Bray Wyatt 2-on-1, and I'm not too sure the Dudleys even win at this point in time. But I don't know. That's where it's up in the air for me. I have it coming down to Devon and Bubba Ray versus Bray. Maybe Bray takes out Devon and then takes out Bubba Ray after that. Sister Abigail through a table somehow, like prop table. That'd be cool. So I'll go with Bray Wyatt being the real sole survivor of this Survivor Series match.
Very good. I'm going to go the other way on this one. I'm going to say the ECW Originals. Like, I want the Wyatts to win, and man, I wanted the Wyatts to actually be like a force, but they kind of buried that whole idea within seconds on Monday night. But I want the Wyatts to win, but I'm actually gonna pick the ECW Originals, and I'm really gonna pick it. I'm doubling down on this if this match starts the night, which it could, and if it does, then absolutely the ECW side is going to win, and it's just going to be like this amazing spot fest that hypes up the crowd. But I think we've got it in the place that it honestly should be on the card, but we'll see. So I'm gonna call each spot kind of like you did. I say that I'm gonna say Rowan goes first, and I can't tell you who's gonna do it. Probably Dreamer.
I'll say Dreamer too. Yeah,
I would say Dreamer finds some way to maybe suplex him through a table or something like that. So Dreamer
DDT through a propped up table.
Yeah, I don't know if both of those guys could pull that off. They'd have to be. That would be kind of weird. But So Dreamer puts Rowan through a table. Strowman comes in, and Strowman, what does he do? I'm trying to remember how I was thinking. Actually, I'm gonna go the same way you went. Where no. I'm gonna say Harper puts. I'm gonna say Harper puts Dreamer through a table somehow.
Okay.
Doesn't he
That's
have
still
it?
the same way. That's still the same way I have it.
Oh, you did say that. Crap.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, no, I didn't say it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I did. Whoever gets eliminated
Right,
next
right.
was the guy who put the previous guy through the table,
Yeah.
kind of deal.
I think Harper puts. I think Harper puts Dreamer through a table, and then doesn't he have a power bomb or something? I think he has a power bomb in his repertoire.
Yeah.
So he'll probably power bomb him through a table, and then it's gonna be. I think they might get a little fun with it and do something kind of interesting. I think you'll have Harper tag out because maybe he takes a DDT before he does that, and then it's just like a suddenly power bomb or something like that. But he's gonna tag out. He's gonna tag in Strowman, and you're gonna play up the idea that Strowman's never been in a match like this or something like this would be how I would tell this story. And Strowman, instead of putting someone through a table, because we haven't seen any sort of real lifting moves with him besides his submission, instead of putting someone through a table, he's going to submit Devon, which doesn't eliminate him, right? He's going to put Devon up in that whatever that weird stranglehold thing is that he does. And the camera's going to be tight on that happening, and the commentators are going to be like, apparently he doesn't understand how this match works or something like that. And then, someone else will be like, well, if they're all knocked out, it's pretty easy to put them through tables, So it's like he's still doing the job. He's just not doing the right job or whatever. But it's going to be tight on them, and you're going to see Devon fall to the ground, and then Rhino is going to spear Strowman through a table that's propped up in the corner. That's what I predict. Like, I think that would be amazing, explosive, just unbelievable. And then you can probably have Harper come in and give Rhino a big boot, and then throw him through a table outside or something like that. Like I would like to see 2 eliminations from Harper because I'd like him to look stronger.
Yeah, Harper's great.
Yeah. So
good-looking man too.
Yeah. So I'd like to see that happen. I don't know if that's how it happened.
Real strong and manly.
And then
great beard.
And then you'll have I get it. You guys look alike. And then Harper will get 3D'd, of course. And so you'll have what will you have left? Strowman,
Dudley's and Wyatt.
Dudley's, Wyatt, and Strowman.
Oh
no, Strowman went through.
No, Strowman got eliminated by Rhino.
Yeah, that's right. Dudley's.
So you're right in the same place with me.
Yeah.
But you're doing it differently.
I'm doing it differently. But so you've still got both Dudleys left and Wyatt, and that's why the Dudleys will win, because I think it would be amazing if they could pull off a Sister Abigail through a table, like maybe off the apron. That would be unbelievable if they could pull that off. But then ultimately, a Bubba Bomb through the table or something like that ends it. So that's how I do it. So I know that was
your sole survivors
detailed.
are the Devon and Bubba Ray.
No, my sole survivor is Bubba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bubba. He's done all the talking, so it just kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense one way or another for sort of the leader of the group to win. So either
and he's former world heavyweight champion too.
Yeah. So
not in WWE, but
yeah. So either Bubba or Bray, but I'm going to pick Bubba while you pick Bray. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's my prediction for that. And then again, major spot fest, but the kind of spot fest that you enjoy instead of just dragging something out. So hopefully it'll have some good build and some good story, and then they'll be done.
Yeah, and talking about it, I'm really hype on this match now.
Yeah, I know. Like, well, I mean, especially when you start trying to call the spots, you're like, they can get kind of creative, and they kind of have to. So, Then we roll into the heavyweight championship, which is once again Roman Reigns versus Sheamus in a TLC match. So that is more along the lines of what you were talking about a while ago, where it's everything's legal. I don't suspect the title will be up on a ladder.
I don't either. But
although, let me throw this out there. Although, if Reigns wins this, and we'll get to our predictions, but if Reigns wins this, it would be pretty fitting for it to actually be suspended and him to have to climb a ladder for the sake of the story. And if they're really, really pushing that part of the story as the night goes on, I suspect that is what will happen. But I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with TLC matches. So
I think they would have showed it ad nauseum.
That's true. They would have.
If it was him trying to get the money in the bank and Kane pushing him down time and time again. I also think that they would have done a silly promo where somebody would have had the mic and kind of like stepped on the ladder and went up a couple rungs and talked from up there.
Well, he was standing on the ladder when they did that awful promo
on Monday night.
Yeah, he was standing on. That's where he started. Was standing on the ladder. I mean,
they
he
never
didn't climb it.
They never mentioned. They never mentioned the word climbing ever. Yeah. So I don't know. It could be, and if it is, okay, great. If it's not, maybe it's better. If it's just regular. The one thing I think that I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm still going to say Sheamus retains, therefore making every champion going into this pay-per-view the champion going out of the pay-per-view. The one person, though, in the League of Nations, did I get it right this time? I think I got it right this time.
You actually got it right.
Hold
up. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We insert canned laughter?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Or applause.
Oh, okay, thank you. I think Mongo McBarrett is the only person of the League of Nations who doesn't have a spot on this roster. So maybe he's going to be the only one to... King Mongo is the only one going to come to the ringside with Sheamus, and maybe based on his interference, a bull hammer or the royal scepter or whatever cost Reigns the match and allows Sheamus to walk out the winner.
Yeah, you make a good point. You make an extremely valid point. I think it would be interesting. I think it could be an interesting story. And again, this relies on creative actually being creative, and capital C creative being lowercase c creative. But I think it'd be interesting if Barrett interfered and accidentally cost Sheamus the title, even though you don't want your face to win that way, especially after this long of an obnoxious build.
And they kick Barrett out of the League of Nations and they bring in Owens.
Well, that would be
My question to
bring
you, though,
another
is
title into it, but then if
they
you
have
don't have the
matching trunk
heavyweight title, then it kind of invalidates it all. So
if they have matching trunks, then they're doomed for failure in a couple months. If not, then you don't know when they're going to lose.
They've got a great intro. I mean,
I kind of think so too.
I think it's really good, and I think that would signify that there's more of a long haul for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see. I would like to see. Let me throw this out there. I'd like to see Reigns win in a way, but he kind of did, and it's over with. And so maybe this is like the match where they say, all right, let's put him on the back burner. And not in a, I mean, they're still putting his face on everything. He's still the pretty boy of the company and everything like that. And I don't hate Reigns. I think they should have put the title on him sooner just to really see what they could do with it.
Yeah.
Even though now looking back on it, I wouldn't have necessarily wanted it off of Rollins because I feel like you could do more with Rollins. So
right.
He seems.
I think Rollins was a good solid year kind of person.
Yeah. Well, especially because he seems beatable. So he has to win. So as a heel, he's afforded the luxury of always winning as a heel, and until he until he makes some sort of turn in some way. But anyway, maybe this is finally the straw that broke Roman's, or broke the, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to wish that on anyone, but broke the camel's back, and that Roman actually loses here. I'm going to pick Sheamus too because it just makes more sense with everything that's going on,
Right.
especially with the League of Nations. And I still think it makes sense for Owens to be part of that. And so maybe you could do something where Barrett gets kicked out, and then, or maybe Barrett is the odd man out. Well, but
somehow Barrett and Rusev go for the tag titles.
But so is Rusev, you know? I don't know. It's just like neither one of them have a title, and I still think it would be great if all four of these guys had a title in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think the League of Nations needs to continue because it could really gather steam. Yeah. So I'm going to pick Sheamus too. So yeah, it's hard to not pick the champs in this pay-per-view, but just because there's so many things, you know, there's things they're building for people like Sheamus. There's the whole idea of New Day is actually 3 people, not 2, so it just makes sense for them to retain. Del Rio's part of League of Nations. Why would he lose the title? Owens has barely had the title that long and can do more with it than probably anyone in the company right now. So why would you take it off? It's just like that's just the recurring theme of there's just no, like, unless they've like just really got a killer story for something, which there's no evidence that that's the case. I don't. There's no reason for anyone to lose their title. So I mean, especially in Charlotte, same thing, because you've already started developing this story with Becky, which is good, by the way. I'll throw that out there. That's actually impressive. You're actually showing what the next chapter in the story is. You're putting it out there, and you're developing a character and a conflict that can organically progress for that championship. Whereas with Kevin Owens, well, where's his next, what's the next step? Like, where do you go from there? And hopefully it's not 2 more matches with the same guy, even though it's Ambrose and you want him to, be a top guy. So anyway, yeah. So I agree with you on most. Did we call all the same winners, or did I pick a different one?
I think you took Bubba Ray and I took Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, and then
you took Rusev?
I took Rusev instead of Ryback.
I took Ryback, and then I think everything else was the same.
Yeah, all the championships retained.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess TLC is supposed to be considered a minor pay-per-view, but honestly, you've got all your top guys on this pay-per-view. Like, all your top talent, with the exception of the females, is on this pay-per-view. Who else would you have? I guess.
Oh, anybody else is either hurt or on vacation.
Yeah, I mean the only person who's not really on the card per se is Barrett, and I agree with you that he's probably part of that the world championship match. So
yeah.
I mean, like, literally your entire, what is your upper card right now is in this pay-per-view, and I don't know that that's a bad thing. That's actually,
that's every pay-per-view though, honestly.
Well,
they don't ever really leave a top guy off. They involve him somehow, some way, even if it's a one-off match or something. I'm sure.
Yeah. Not always. I mean, there have been a few. There have been, especially with tag, but that's kind of what you said. How they
tag doesn't matter.
How they treated tag for the longest time. So, but anyway, yeah. I just think it's. I think that this goes back to what you said. This is what WWE looks like without John Cena, and everyone
without John Cena and 4 or 5 injuries, taking out
right
Orton, Bryan, and Rollins and Cesaro.
Yeah, I mean this is how deep you are. These are the guys that have been built, and you can hate WWE for not building more people, but you can't. But WWE can't predict injuries. if Cesaro was supposed to be part of one of these storylines, you can't predict that he's going to have shoulder surgery, right? So it's yeah. I mean, it's like, and what if they had really built Cesaro and then he had to go out for that shoulder surgery? What if they really had built? This is reaching, but Stardust, and then Swagger injures him. It's one of those things. It's like it's a blessing and a curse that at least you've got these guys who have been built, and at least in the case of the ECW guys, at least you had guys that you could call them up and say, "Hey, we need help." So
yeah.
Anyway, but that's where we are on match predictions. Where are we going next, Larry? We're going to our bold predictions.
Or you wanna just throw out a speculated pre-show match, maybe?
Yeah.
Just to see if we can call one if it happens.
Sure. I'm going to call two, so I'm cheating. But I predict, just because they keep doing this match for no good reason, and we've already alluded to it, I predict that it would be Breeze versus Ziggler, and that will be, so this is the TLC pay-per-view, but that will be the pre-show match, and that will be a drawer match where they're battling for a drawer at Summer Rae's place. So that's what they're battling for, a sock drawer.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So that's what I predict. What I would like to see is Sasha versus anyone for a respectable amount of time. I would love to see
like even Adam Rose.
Yeah, even Adam Rose. I think they could put on a fantastic match. They could put on an amazing match. Even Sasha Banks versus Mad
Vladimir Kozlov.
Mad Braddocks. Mad Braddocks.
Okay, Mad Braddocks.
Yeah. So
okay.
So, but yeah, I would love to see Sasha versus anyone, because you've only got one women's match on the card anyway. So why not have a women's match for the pre-show? And why not give them some time and just see if the crowd pays attention? Just see if they're actually jerking the curtain and people are like, "Whoa, what is going on here? This is a great match." Just give it a chance. So, yeah. So that's what I would like. That's what I predict, and that's what I'd like to see. What's your call?
I got one, but let me say it could be any possible combination of these people in a match to give myself a little bit of a cheating factor here. A team of Goldust, R-Truth, and Titus O'Neil versus Stardust and the Ascension. Now, I don't know if Stardust is hurt or not. If he's hurt, plug in Bo Dallas, I guess. Bo Dallas. But any combination, if it's 2-on-2, if it's 1-on-1, or if it's a 6-man tag, like I just listed it, we'll go with it. But I think that's a nice, fun crowd opener, and gets kind of like the excess of the roster into a match on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah, sounds good to me. I would love to see a Goldust and Buddies versus the wow, sorry if you heard that, but I would love to see Goldust and Friends versus what's it called? The
Cosmic
Wasteland. Wasteland. Yeah, I would love to see that. I would just love to see the Cosmic Wasteland more. So, anywho,
bold predictions.
Bold predictions. Let's move on.
All right. What do you got? Should I go first? You're expanding on mine.
Bold predictions. Do I have one? I don't know. I'd love to see someone come back, but it's like you said, doing it at the pay-per-view. Are you really getting that much out of it? But
I think at this point, though, let me contradict myself.
This pay-per-view needs it.
I think this pay-per-view needs it, to this fact where it's like, well, if you didn't tune into this pay-per-view, you missed this.
Right.
Shame on you, kind of deal. Instead of like, well, why didn't you tell us beforehand? We would have bought it. I think WWE can play the guilt factor the other way. Be like, oh, if you didn't subscribe to the WWE Network and watch TLC, you missed the return of Steve Blackman and his nunchucks.
You are really, really, really jonesing for a Steve Blackman return. I've
You
noticed.
know what's so funny is that every friend I've ever known that's been a wrestling fan has always pointed out the fact that I always bring up Steve Blackman in any conversation. There was one old school Raw where he appeared in like this battle royal, or they had like a little rumble. I forget it was. Like I think it was like a little Royal Rumble they had at an old school Raw, and he came out, and my God, my phone was blowing up. You watching Raw? Put on USA, or yeah, I think it was on USA
Yeah,
still at the time.
yeah.
Put on USA. You know, your boy's on. I'm like, I know, I'm watching it. Shut up.
That's
You cost me
great.
10 cents per text. Leave me
That's
alone.
great. Yeah, yeah. Some 10 cents per text. Yeah, I
It was
would.
that long ago.
Yeah, I guess it would have been. I would like to see someone. I would like to see someone come back, and there's no better person than Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Really, I mean it's not really a bold. I mean, it's about the weakest bold prediction I can give, though, because it's not really a prediction as much as it is. I wish that would happen because, like you said, and I agree, this pay per view needs something, man, because it's pretty obvious that there's no reason to think that any of these titles are going to change hands, and if they do, they'll just go back to they'll get reversed somehow on Raw. I mean, not necessarily like an authority reversal, but like they'll rematch it, and the guys will get it back on Raw, so it'll basically negate the pay per view.
Yeah, but I mean, even if they do that, it's still
At
more
least something
exciting than we're
happened.
doing
Yeah.
now. Instead of complaining about them hot shotting the title, it's kind of like, well, they're giving you a reason to watch. You know,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
I think all those arguments fall out the window in these desperate times right now. And then,
Right. Yeah. Do something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
But
maybe
here's
maybe something will happen. So I don't know. Go
here's
ahead.
my bold prediction, though, and I talked to you about this on the weekly show, but I think off the air. Here's the greatest scenario you can have to kind of like boost, and is booster a word? I guess it is.
Booster
Boost
Gold.
your, yeah, Booster Gold. Hi, I'm Booster Gold. This is Metropolis. No one's going to understand that.
Yeah.
But how about during the Sheamus and Roman Reigns match, Charles Robinson's the referee. He gets touched.
Of
He gets
course
laid
he
out.
is.
He gets laid out, right?
Right.
Here comes the League of Nations. Roman Reigns takes him out. But maybe like Rusev and Barrett are still standing up, and all of a sudden, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, place goes nuts. Rock comes out. There's a 2-on-2 standoff in the ring. Rock turns and lays out Roman Reigns and walks away.
Not only do I love that, we could do a show like maybe a 10-15. Well, knowing us, it'd be like 3 hour long
3.5
show.
hours. Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, we could do a show on how you could actually have a story arc develop from that if The Rock has time. But I think he's shooting a bunch of movies this year.
He's shooting movies all the time.
But I mean, like, I think he's like actually already booked for a lot of stuff from here to WrestleMania.
Okay.
To the point that I believe he's already like on location somewhere during WrestleMania, so we may not even see him then. Even though,
probably.
Even though I know he would want to be there, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bold prediction, and there's
right. So let me lay it out
here. With it. There's
let me lay it out in bullet points right now. Rock lays out Roman Reigns, Sheamus, and they all have the stunned shock look on their face. Sheamus sheepishly crawls on Roman Reigns. Charles Robinson gives the slow. I just got knocked out. 3 count. On Raw, you have a confrontation between Roman Reigns and The Rock, or The Rock in the ring explaining why he did what he did.
And the
Roman comes and confronts him.
Yeah, and The Rock, let me throw in, The Rock basically says, hey, we're family, but everybody's right. You're just not ready yet.
Right. They could do something like that. Rock winds up giving him the rock bottom and walks away. Then all of a sudden you cut like an hour later, Roman Reigns is in the back with Renee, and he just like blows her off and walks out of the building. Roman Reigns then is not seen on TV for a month, 2 months maybe. But then he re-debuts, and you don't need The Rock anymore. He re-debuts, and he becomes this man on an island I keep talking about. He's not a heel. He's not a face. He hates everyone. He's even disconnected from his family. Dean Ambrose and the Usos to the
Right.
point where he's like the solo Shield member. He'll come to the ring and take out somebody just because he wants to one time.
Which was
You
kind
know,
of who he was in the Shield. I mean, he
right.
was
So now,
the
like,
guy. So
now I think the fans will start to go for him because now he's not talking, he's not being pushed, he's just coming down and destroying people. And then I think you get him back on board for WrestleMania to kind of like interject himself into the title match or win a qualifier to get into the match or whatever. Not the Royal Rumble, but something else. And I think that's how you do it. But bold prediction, Rock comes to the ring, lays him out, or, you know, if you even want to say like somebody does it, maybe it's Jericho, and then Roman Reigns and Jericho can have a couple matches between now and whenever, while Sheamus fights Cena for the title, let's say. But that's what I got.
yeah, I like it, and I like the fact that you have someone coming in who's obviously there to defend Reigns, and they turn on him. Like what? And it works for The Rock. It's easy to do that because The Rock can sell that. He can easily sell, hey, you're not ready,
and he won't be a heel.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy.
He won't be turning. Like, crowd will go nuts if he does that to Roman Reigns.
Right. And that'll be, you know, probably the most over The Rock's been in 5 years, right? But
you make Reigns look even worse to make him look better in the long run by doing that, because it's The Rock, who's not going to cheer The Rock at this point in his life, you know?
Right, and especially in that, you know, I mean, you will have some kid, Reigns has been getting some, like, a lot of the cheering that you heard on SmackDown tonight was pretty legit with the Reigns match. Like, I was watching it, and people were actually pretty excited about him.
Well, they popped huge for him on Raw.
Yeah,
until everyone decided, oh wait, we don't like Reigns, we're going to boo him.
I know,
and then they booed him.
But
he popped huge at the end of that match. We're a
smart crowd. Hey, we're smart, so we don't. Anyway, but yeah, he so there's that, and I think that's honestly one of the best storylines you could have to make him, like you said, he's not really a heel. He's just he's his tagline. We're one versus all. You know, that's been one of his taglines, one versus all. And that's what he becomes. He becomes that guy. And everyone actually starts buying that shirt, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be amazing and very much needed for his character and very much needed for the fans. And it gets him out of the title picture for a little bit, but it means he can kind of enter it at any time. You know, like he keeps interfering with the title match, keeps interfering with, you know, it's easy to insert him back into the title picture at that point. So yeah, I think that's an amazing way to do it. And like you said, Rock can do it. Jericho works because of how he snubbed Reigns and
oh God, imagine if Daniel Bryan came to the ring and hit Roman Reigns with the title and knocked him out. God,
I mean,
that place, that would be awesome.
The roof would lift off the place.
I think so too. Yeah,
I mean, like he could never be more over, and I could see that being something he wouldn't really want to do.
Right,
but he'd be like, you know, let me go talk to him, and let me help write this. We can write this well, or you know, he says, hey, I want this guy writing it, or something. You know what I'm saying? Like Brian could have that kind of he has that kind of stroke at this point because he's still out there being the face of the company. I still don't
hold out. I still don't rule out the possibility, and this is the fan in me speaking, not the smart mark, know-it-all,
sure,
hipster, as you want to call me. But I do not rule out the possibility of hearing Cult of Personality by Living Colour play at that point in time in the match when Charles Robinson gets knocked out.
Good grief, that would be you talking about. You're talking about.
But they're in Boston, so realistically, you're going to hear do 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 do. You know what I mean?
That's true. They are in Boston.
Yeah, that's why you might get Sasha Banks in the pre-show.
Yeah,
they are in Boston.
Yeah, so that and they actually let her win in Boston.
Well, I don't know. You talk to Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder barely gets on Long Island shows and never wins anyway.
No, but I'm saying like when they've been in Boston, she wins. And it's like that's unheard of in wrestling. You always that's where Bill Goldberg Like Bill Goldberg lost the title in that stupid wrench match with Nash in Atlanta.
Yeah.
In Atlanta.
I think Bret Hart lost once in Canada.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just
against
like
his wishes.
yeah, yeah. I think that was sort of a thing. I feel like someone's talked about that before, but
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah. So those are our predictions and our bold predictions and just some really fun stuff we'd like to see that we think is probably needed for this pay per view. Because again, you know, you could. I'm not gonna undersell it because our next show is why you want the WWE Network, because our next show is actually only on the WWE Network, and you just can't miss it. And that's NXT Takeover London. Unbelievable. I can't tell you how excited I am for this. And it's not just because they've put on so many good shows. I mean, it helps that they've put on so many good shows heading up to this. But man, the build, the go home show, holy crap. So good. So good. And it's a mix of old school and current day that they do so well and possibly better than anybody else. And so I'm excited about that next show. Do not miss it. Of course, you can comment on this one. Let us know what you think. If we get something right, then feel free to make sure WWE knows that we got it right and no one else did, even though other people may have too. Just pretend that no one else did. But we appreciate you listening, and do not miss our next episode where we discuss NXT TakeOver London. I'm the Duke. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you. I kind of botched that. Worse than Sin Cara. But
and for Pokey, Prickle, Goo, Blockhead letter J, and Blockhead letter G, I'm Gumby, damn it. Later.